I sit with notebook and pencil in hand in the corner of a wide office. There's a view of the massive new Dexter Horton building out of a long window. The structure dwarfs all the other businesses and apartment buildings making up the busy Seattle skyline. Horns and engine noise from these newfangled machines called cars ring out from the street. Seattle's growing more and more chaotic these days, such as life in 1926. Amidst all this, rain splatters the window, gray clouds hang over everything, and no sun dares to show itself. Just another day. Days like this make me feel a little melancholy and more inclined to wrap myself up in my blankets and drink alone in my apartment. Perhaps listen to an Al Johnson record or whatever is on the radio. But today I had to override these feelings and drag myself to the offices of Henrik Steele, a notable steel merchant, owner of Steel Steel, and the object of my next article. Henrik holds a phone to his ear and is listening to someone on the other end. Gray sprinkles itself for his hair and his trimmed, long beard. He's dressed in a brown three-piece suit with a silver pocket watch hanging from his vest pocket. You can tell the man works out as some of his vest buttons are barely holding on, like they might break at any point. The man looks better suited to be a lumberjack. Perhaps he was in a past life. Photographs of Henrik with Calvin Coolidge, Henry Ford, and Charlie Chaplin decorate the walls. Chaplin's face in particular is contorting in pain as he shakes the hand of the muscular, bear-like Henrik. Poor guy. The office is sizable, but not as big as you would think, given the man's stature and position, both physically and metaphorically. Henrik's solid wood desk takes up half the space alone. Steel samples and photographs of his blonde wife and his two sons, both of whom are big like their father and blonde like their mother, cover the wooden surface. I guess I can live at that price. Say hello to your wife for me. Henrik listens for a brief moment. Yes, yes, I'll let her know too. So long, old chum. Henrik puts his phone down without waiting for the response. Idiot. Henrik leans back in his chair. I'll tell you, Marcus, there's so many fools out there. Those out there who are just begging me to take their money. What am I supposed to do? Not take the money? It's not me. It's just going to be a Rockefeller or a Horton. Henrik springs from his chair and looks at the Dexter Horton building across the street. Puget Sound just had to make that building bigger than mine, didn't they? I bet Horton's daughter urged him on, along with that cousin of hers. What's his name? Henrik puts his finger to his chin. Oh yes, Charles. That's his name. You know, old sport. I once saw him in a public with a woman, and he made her walk on the outside of the sidewalk, not next to the building like an upstanding gentleman should. Henrik waves his finger at me. You always walk on the outside, Marcus, and if shit comes your way, you let that vileness fall on you. You never down Fatty Alley after the local whales have had their dinner. We taught that man his manners. The circus? Henrik shakes his head. I agree, sir. It's completely disrespectful. I nods right down his words in my notebook. Make sure to add that to your article. I want people to know that Charles is a shit dodger. Oh, yes, that's good. Add that. Eric smiles to himself. He stares right back at the Dexter Horton building. His hands ball up into fists. His brief smile runs away. Rage and anger take control of his face. His nose flares and his face turns a little red. I wonder if he's about to charge the Dexter Horton building like an arbitral bull. Do they have a matador on duty? As I finish writing, I wonder about the fire that was reported in the Dexter Horton building a few months back. Henrik couldn't have had something to do with that. Could he have? This gets me so fired up. I need to move. It's time for some fitness, old sport. Henrik takes off his jacket and throws it onto his desk. He knocks over the picture of his wife, pays this little heed, starts to unbutton his vest. Dread swirls my mind as I take my gray jacket off, place it on a chair. I've never been the most enthusiastic about exercise. Walking from my home to work and to the bar is possibly the only activity I get, unless I meet someone at the bar, which does not happen often. I don't believe that smoking since I was young really helped open my lungs. No matter what the local quack says, I should really stop seeing that guy. Started slowly unbuttoning my dress shirt as Henrik tosses his vest on top of his jacket and his family's picture. Henrik starts loosening the buttons on his shirt, his nose flaring as his face turning to an annoyed scowl. To hell with it. He tears his shirt open and buttons go flying. Suddenly hit me in the face. Henrik's muscular and hairy chest reveals itself. Thick veins cover it. It reminds me of two mountains, i.e. his pectorals, amidst heavy grass, i.e. his hair. Come on, what are you doing? Let's go. Henrik tears off his pants, leaving him dressed only in his underwear. There's a long sloshes like shape beneath the fabric of his boxers. I shouldn't look at that. I button the last button of my dress shirt and carefully lay it across the chair. Pants, too. Brace your masculinity, young man. Henrik stands there, his hands on his hips, his foot lightly stomps on the floor. Quick tempo. Yes, yes, sir. Right away. I gulp a little as I regretfully take my pants off and lay them with my other two clothing, all of whom I bought for $10 at a local thrift store, the same place where I'm pretty sure that I saw some roaches. In my boxers, I stand before the bear like Henrik. In comparison, we couldn't be more different. My beard is untidy, my hair is a little greasy and unkempt. I'm also thin and definitely not as muscular as I had before me. He looks like the perfect specimen of that kind. I'm definitely the opposite of that. And he definitely has me beat in the shape underneath the boxers area. God damn, I need to stop looking at it. People will think I'm a pansy. Not that a glance is bad or anything like that, no matter what my old priest used to say. Seeing Henrik looking around my body, I wonder if he's going to say something. Move, move, jumping jacks. Henrik races into jumping jacks and I regretfully fall after him. I'm still wondering if he'll say something about my body. Try to match Henrik, but I can barely keep up his quick tempo. In no time, my heart is beating like a jackhammer. Sweat drips from my forehead, and I struggle for every breath. Henrik narrows his eyes at me. In fact, this sort of man can't do this. Push-ups, now. Henrik instantly falls to the ground and starts to do push-ups. I stop the jumping jacks and fall into the ground and I proudly gasp for every breath. Henrik is going up and down at some ungodly rhythm while I can barely press myself up, let alone go down. Henrik stops and stares at me. What are you doing? Look at your form. Spread your hands wide. And raise your ass. Yes, yes. I blurt out as sweat drops onto the carpet below me. Sir, if I may, the middle voice asked from the doorway. That must be Roger, his assistant. Yes. What is it, Roger? Can't you see that you're interrupting fitness time? Henrik asks, as he keeps doing push-ups and I keep trying to go along with him. I know, sir, but there's a bit of an emergency downstairs. Henrik steps in the room and I feel him right behind me. An emergency. Henrik stands up and I collapse to the ground and go right into a loud coughing fit. Something that Henrik ignores as he stands right above me, allowing me to see one of his thick jewels hang out from his underwear. Close my eyes and try to get my breath back on the sweat covered carpet. The kind of emergency. Henrik steps away from me. One worker lost a hand, Roger mentions, and I open my eyes at this. Immediately I sit up and struggle over to my chair. This needs to be written down. Hand? Piff. You needed to interrupt fitness time for missing a hand? Just put the damn thing back on. Henrik continues me just as I grab my notebook and pencil. Marcus, put those down. Push-ups. Sure, I don't think we can just put it back on, Roger says. Henrik is right on the carpet and has taken the push-up position. Why not? Henrik narrows his eyes at Roger. He crushed under some steel. Dreadful business, actually. A wife and two boys at home. Henrik bolts up to his feet. Fine, fine. Here's what we'll do. Find some other hands just lying around and use those. Well, I don't think that would work. Even if it could, the rats have apparently got a taste for hands, arms, fingers, and toes. Thus, none can be found. Even legs? Especially legs. Or meat for them. And take back the limbs from the rats. That was discussed, but the workers fear that more limbs would be lost if they were to try that. I should mention that these rats have become rather large, once mutated actually, as if they got their hands on our radium. Henrik froze his hands up. Great, just what we need. Cannibalistic, radioactive rats. Places his hands on his chin. Clearly we need to get rid of them. Can't have them getting in the way of production. And killing workers? Roger says under his breath. Something that I catch, but Henrik doesn't. I know. Henrik points his finger up. Who are the ones talking about unions? Roger takes a breath. Most of them do, sir. Very well. Pick 5 or 10 and send them with some poison and take out the rats. If they fail, send more. Henrik smiles himself. I like to call that 2 birds with 1 stone or 2 commas with 1 fist. Henrik makes a fist. Send that James fellow to take on the rats. He didn't call me sir last week. Of course. Roger nods. And what about the man who has hand crushed? Bandage up and put him back to work. But sir, I think we should send him to the hospital. No, they won't do anything for him. But sir, I think enough. Do as I ask. And if he dies from bloodlust, bury him out back with the others. Tell the widow that he ran off. Roger nods, like the last tent, he says under his breath. Really loud enough for me to hear. Roger leaves the room and Henrik was over me. None of that was on the record. Of course, the answer, even though I had written down the entire conversation already, without Henrik knowing. Back to fitness. Let's go. Henrik lowers himself to the ground and starts to do push-ups again. I join on the carpet, but in the back of my mind, I know I'm going to ruin this match.